Yeah, everyone can view my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so here I will be starting with the Linux from zero level, what is Linux, why we use Linux, what are the commands in Linux, and how we can learn basic Linux, so that whether if we are not in this particular field, if we because right now what is happening, whether you are in software development field or somewhere else, you will need a little bit knowledge of Linux so that you can run your program in Linux environment. You can test how it would be running on your server, because at last server would be on Linux, would be Linux system only. So as a developer, uh, as a programmer, all of us should know how Linux works and how we can use Linux operating system. So I will be starting from very basic, no prerequisite for this particular session. So let's start with what is Linux basic. Okay, so if I can open my paint, so write something. Okay. So what basically happened is currently we are having Windows operating system, which most of us are using, Windows or Mac. So both of these operating systems are working fine. We don't have any issue with Windows. It is working fine. Whatever program we wanted to run, we can run in Windows. If we face any issue, we can connect with Microsoft and we can just resolve this issue. Year by year or at some interval, we are also getting updates from Windows as well as Mac. So we don't have any issue with these operating systems. But why we need a new operating system? Why this Linux came up in the picture? So the reason was like all of these operating systems, how they work behind the scene, we don't know. We don't know how they work behind the scene. They are just like a software for us. So if ever you have installed a Windows operating system from yourself or Mac, so you will know, like, we get a ISO file in pen drive, and we can boot it. So it is around 15 to 16 GB for Windows. So we don't know means what is this there in this 15 to 16 GB. We have softwares, a lot of kernel softwares we are, but how they are have been designed, how they are working behind the scene. Whenever how our Windows operating system is connecting with hard disk, how it is connecting with CPU, how it is connecting with RAM, how the all the things are working. How if we are trying to let's say like here multiple programs I'm running behind the scene. You can see a lot of program is running behind the scene. How Windows is managing all of them. So these all questions we don't know as outsiders. Only Microsoft guys who have created Windows, they knew. They have written the code for that, and they know how all of these things work. So what happened is, so Solomon Mike, not Linux to world. This was a person. So what he think is, why don't we open source how this operating system works? So Linux to world was the person, or we can say the father of Linux. He was the person who has just uh, just created this operating system, and he makes this operating system open source. So what does it means? Like how Linux is working, we have the source code for that. Whether it is written in C, Java, Go, in any of the language, that's a different thing. But we have the code. If you want to learn that particular programming language, you can go. You can learn that programming language, whether it is in cell scripting, C, and all of them. You can just learn it, and you can just understand how it is being created. So I'm not over spelling is color. What he do is he have created a new operating system. This is the person I'm talking about, Linus Torvalds, and with his name only he has created. He has just put it this word Linux. So he is the person behind this particular operating system. So what he does is he has created operating system which will have all the facilities which our Windows and all have, Microsoft Windows and Apple have, as well as he has open sourced the whole code. So now, as a normal developer, as a client, or we can say as a user, we have the code also. So now we can go much deeper into operating system. We can understand how the things are integrated to each other. Now, if we want to create more software above this operating system, it would be very easy for us because we know how how our software will go to connect with RAM, hard disk, and all. Because we have now, we can just see, we can just understand the code how this is being made. So he is a person who has just created Linux and make it open source to the whole public, and that's why today and even whatever he has done, it's a big role that a lot of softwares and most of the things we can work on. Even if we have to, if we even we have to play with our operating system, if we have to play with kernels, if we have to create servers, each and everything without Linux wouldn't be that much easier for us. That's the first reason. That's the open source. Windows will never open source its code. Otherwise, why will people use Windows, right? So here what happen is there are a lot of communities. So what they do is they just what we say non-profitable. So they just keep on creating. They also keep on updating their operating system, and we can get more and more softwares. Even if you think like I can create a big thing in this operating system, I can just fix some bug. You can join that community. You can whatever you can just fix it. You can work with that community as well. So this is how it works. So till now, is it clear?
Yes. Can you explain what is kernel? I don't know that.
Yeah, sure. So kernel is, you can say, like the heart of this Linux. So what basically does is whatever I do in any operating system, even in Windows we have. Like here, I am just clicking on this minimizing icon. Whatever I am doing behind the scene, kernel is taking the action for it. Kernel knows, like if I just double click here, then this software to open. You can see kernel is the main brain. You can see just behind this operating system. It takes all the decision. It knows like if I am opening this particular, let's say if I open Teams, Microsoft Teams, then how much RAM I have to allocate to this particular program. Kernel knows, kernel can manage this. Kernel knows how much CPU it will take. So, and where I have to launch this thing in RAM, each and everything means whatever you can think of, whatever logical thing happen in our operating system, kernel is behind. Kernel is also a program. It is also written in a language, and it does each and everything for us. So, and even why we, in Linux we can just play with this kernel also. So I will talk about it later. But basically, you can think each and everything, whatever we are doing, kernel is the one who is taking the decision. Kernel knows how to connect with mouse. Kernel knows how to, if I am just double clicking in a folder, then how to connect with hard disk and show all the files which are stored in that folder. So you can see like everything kernels do. If kernels fail or got crashed, then your operating system will crash. Sometimes like Windows got crashed and all, so you can't use it. So that's a different thing. So this is what kernel is. Is it clear? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is a little bit about this operating system, a new operating system, which is Linux. Now we would be using this. So where, how to use it first? So as like Linux is open source, okay. So means the Linux is open source, but what the companies have done, different companies have done, they have taken this particular Linux as a base. So if I can, like this is a Linux. So they have just taken this particular Linux as a base, and above this Linux, they have installed, or we can say they have created some more applications or softwares. Let's say these are some software they have created from themselves in above of this Linux, and they just wrap this whole thing and just shell this in the market with a new name. Okay, so like this, we have a lot of Linux operating systems. So if you know, like Red Hat is the one, Red Hat Linux. Red Hat is a company, and which is providing you the Linux. We have Ubuntu as the second one. Ubuntu. We have the Kali. So what are they? Very simple. They are behind the scene. The base of all of them is Linux only, which is the open source designed by him. But above them, they are just pre-installing some softwares, or if we are using Red Hat Linux, so whenever there would be any issue in this Red Hat Linux, we can just connect with Red Hat as a company. Let's say if we are, let's say we work in Unilever. if Unilever behind the scene data lab, in data lab, if it is using Red Hat Linux, let's say. So whenever if some issue came up, let's say the Linux got crashed, to whom they will connect? Like this is a open source, right? So we have to connect with the community and all if we are just using the Linux. But if we are using a wrap material, so the company Red Hat has a responsibility. If there would be some issue, they would come, their developers or what we say, they will come and they will resolve this issue. So like this, we have Red Hat, Ubuntu, Kali. These are different flavors of Linux we have currently in the market. Okay, so Linux is open source, but above that, they just do some install some more softwares and they just sell it as a new product to us. Okay, and if the companies are using, let's say currently whatever Linux I will be showing you, it is free of cost because we are not using the community version. But if the company is using a Red Hat Linux, they will use a community version and they will pay for it to Red Hat. Why they will pay for Red Hat? The first thing is Red Hat will create a lot of software for them pre-installed so that a company like Orbit Labs wouldn't have to create those software. So it would be pre-installed. We can just use it as our use case. The second thing is we will get a customer support from them. If there would be some issue, we are paying them. So if they will just come and they will resolve the issue. Okay, so is it clear? Means we have a different kind of Linux. We all and the companies pay for it if they are using Red Hat, Ubuntu, Kali, or some a lot of type of Linux we have. Even few months back or years back, people have created Linux in Hindi also. Okay, so they have put some funny name for it. Some developers were there. So even we can also create our own Linux. We just have to do is we just have to take this base Linux and we have to just whatever the command, like we have a command date in Linux, we can just change it to our name also, like Sudhanshu. Whenever I will run the Sudhanshu command, date will be printed and I will just wrap it and I will just sell it like this is my own Linux, this is Sudhanshu Linux, and I can sell it in the market. This is a different thing. No one will buy it for now because I don't have that lot of functionalities which these big companies are providing. So, but we can also create our own Linux. Okay. So this is about these basics, like what is Linux and how we are doing. Here for the demo purpose, I am going to use Red Hat Linux. Okay. So Red Hat is a very big company. Okay, and they have Linux. They have Linux operating system as well as they have a lot of more softwares which they have like you just not a part of this program. We'll see sometime more again. But that is you can say one flavor of Linux which I will be using here. Okay. So is it clear till now? Hello, Meenu ma'am, Devraj. Is it clear? Or do you want more clarification?
Yes.
Okay. Now I will show you. I will not show you the way how we can install this Linux in our local system. I can share. I have just created one PDF for it. I can share you because it is a lengthy process. It will take around 30 minutes. We can't waste our time in that. What we can do is if you want to install Linux in your local system, okay, we can do it. So we have to just first of before that we have to install Oracle. Okay, this is just the software. Okay, not okay. So okay, Oracle virtual box. Okay, so what it does is so as in our Windows. So let's understand why I am going to install this virtual box as a software. There's a reason behind that. So like this is my Windows, right? Let's say if I this is my Windows, and if I want to color it, I don't use paint that much. Okay, let's say this is my Windows operating system, and if in Windows, like here I'm not buying a new laptop with Linux pre-installed. Here I have the Windows or Mac dependent on whatever operating system you have. Okay, so whatever what we say depends on whatever operating system you have. Inside above this, I will install my Linux. How I can do this? So here we will need a concept of virtualization. So what virtualization concept will do is virtually it will looks like it will like to all the hardwares I have. Like here I have RAM, hard disk, CPU. They don't know, means above them whether Windows is going to install, whether Linux is going to install, whether Mac is going to install. Okay. Currently they know that I have a Windows operating system which is managing them, but I have to install one more operating system. Here I have to install this Linux. So I have to give it like a is illusion. It would be like illusion, like I have a two different this hard disks and all. So here, if in like it is not like I can install a software above this, means in Windows, like we install WhatsApp as a software, we install uh, a lot of softwares we have, right? Teams as a software. We can't install Linux in that way. We can't just go here and just do Red Hat and install it. We will it as it is an operating system, so it will need all of these resources which I have told you, RAM and all. So and these we will just install an image for it. We can install image like if Windows, we have a Windows image which whose size is around 15 GB. If ever you have booted Windows from yourself, so you know like it's the size is around 15 GB. Similarly for Red Hat also, we have ISO file, we have its ISO file, its size is around 10 GB, sometimes 6 GB also. So here I can show you like this in downloads. If I go, I have installed like this is RHEL 8. This is the Red Hat version 8, and it is for 8664 type of system, and it is a DVD disk image file. So if we have to install Linux, we will need this ISO file. Then only we can do it. Its size is around I think 6 GB for this particular version. For to install this, we will need a concept of virtualization, which will like give an illusion to the system. Like I have two means operating system which I am going to install. Means this hard disk if I have. So this hard disk will be like this is my, let's say, system, and this is a hard disk. Here is a part. It will be illusion for him, for it, like this like it could be attached to a one more operating system. Okay, it like if we have to do it in a typical way, then the best way would be buy a new laptop, install Linux in that. But we are not going to do this. We are going to provide our Linux a virtual hard disk, you can say. It would be not virtual by default. It would be the real one also. For whatever data you will store, it will be stored in your hard disk only. Whatever you are using, SATA or something else. But that's why here we are using virtual concept. I will not go much deep into it. For now, it is not useful for us that much. But just for a basic basic understanding, we will use virtualization concept. And for this, you have to turn on Hyper-V in your in your this operating system. So just boot it, or just allow Hyper-V, install the software, and then above this, very easy. Like if I have to install a new operating system, I will just click here. This is my Oracle virtual box. I will give a name here. So let's say if I am installing Red Hat 8, so which type of Linux are you using? So I have like here I am can install Mac also if I need. Okay. So Linux, Microsoft, I can install in this virtual box. I can install Windows also. So think like how much good it would be. Inside Windows, we can install one more Windows. They would be two different Windows. Okay. So this so we can, but for that we will need that Windows ISO file, which we can download from the internet, which we can find very easily. Okay. Now in Red Hat, we can just select which version I want to use. So Red Hat 64. I can just go next. How much, like here the it is saying create virtual machine. This could be a virtual machine, and here I can just specify how much RAM memory side max it can take. So like I have 8 GB RAM, so I can just decide, okay, you can use this much GB of RAM, and then I can do hard disk. So virtual hard disk, create a virtual hard disk. Now it would be not it for illusion to our operating system. It would be virtual, but at last it is going to install in your real hard disk. Okay, this is a concept. So with this, I can just create. Then it will take around 30 minutes to install it. Even if you have booted Windows operating system ever, so it takes around 30 to 45 minutes. So I will not going to do this right now. Okay, we will do it. I will just share the PDF so you can just install this system in your local. So like here, is it clear till now how we can install Red Hat or any other Linux if you need. If you want to install Windows Ubuntu, then just what you have to do is just go and install ISO file, this image file of Ubuntu. Here I have installed for Red Hat, downloaded for Red Hat. You just do for Ubuntu. You can easily find it in internet. So is it clear till now?
Yes.
Okay, so what here I have done is here in Linux, so you can see how crazy it is. I have one operating system that is Windows. Inside Windows, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different operating system. I also have these all from Red Hat Linux only, but they could be from one of them would be Ubuntu, could be from Ubuntu or all of these. We can do that also. Here you can see a 10 different all of these which you can see. I have just given them name. Jenkins is a concept is a tool, so I have to use that tool inside it. That's why I've given the name Jenkins. Otherwise, you can give name like OS1, OS2, OS3, OS4, OS5. All of them would have their different hard disk. So it doesn't mean like whatever I'm saving or storing here, it will affect any of them. No, it will have its different hard disk, different space. Everything would be different. You can see like it would be a box which is completely different from all of these 9, as well as completely different from your Windows also. So in Windows, I have installed with a virtualization concept 10 more operating system, and which I can go inside and I can just run Linux command. That much simple it is. So I think this would be the right time to start with the Linux command. So now we can look into it how it works. As my this current system in which I am, so I don't have much. I have just 8 GB RAM. So what I will prefer, if you want to do all of these things, at least 8 GB RAM you will need. Otherwise, because this is a new operating system, you can think here also a kernel would be running. So it takes a lot of RAM and space also. So if you have 16 GB RAM in your system, that would be more good. But for 8 GB RAM also it works fine. So for me, as I have a second generation CPU, so it will run very slow in my system. That's why I am right now to show you the commands I am using here, the Linux from the cloud. So here I have just created account in AWS Cloud. You can also do it's free. So if you think like you don't want to install all of these things locally, because you have to just download that ISO file, then you will have to come here, create new, you will have to wait for 30 minutes. You will have to enable virtualization option. A lot of things you will have to do for local, to doing it local. You can do it from cloud also. In cloud, everything would be in just 4 clicks. In 4 clicks, you can just you will have a new Linux operating system. So is it very simple? So if you just want to, it's not a cloud class, but let's see if in cloud you want to do it. So in AWS Cloud, first of all, you will just have to go and create a new account. It is free. If you will go for a student account, for student, it is I think for 1 year free. So for 1 year, most of the AWS services you can run without any cost. Same thing you can do on this also, Azure also. If you have an account in Azure, both of them are simple. So here it is saying like Amazon Linux. So Amazon has also created its own Linux, AWS, Ubuntu, which I've already talked about. Windows, you can install Windows also here. Red Hat, I've talked. So these are a lot of Linux we have. You can see Mac is also here. So David, this is so a lot of here we just few famous Linux we can see, but in reality we have a lot of Linux flavors available. Okay, so if I have to just do it, so here in this right side you can see number of number of instances I want to launch. For now I have just do it one. So, and if what would be the image name? So here I have shown you I have installed I've downloaded a 6 GB image. So here I'm using Amazon Linux, whatever Linux Amazon have. It's the command would be completely same as Red Hat. So I'm using this Linux, and this is some concept like virtual instance type T2.micro. What does it mean? It is completely AWS concept. In T2.micro, I think we will have 2-core CPU and 2 GB RAM. I think this much you will get in the free account which I have. Otherwise, we can get hundreds of GB RAM also. We will have to pay for it. Firewall, I am not doing like here. It's like we are creating a new operating system, so we will have to set up each and everything: firewall, security, uh, how much storage it will take, each and everything. That's what we are doing. How much storage I'm providing to it? It is 8 GB. So my this free AWS Linux will have 8 GB of space, which I am doing free tier. And here I will just click launch instance. As I will click launch, this operating system, one more instance will be launched. Let me just click here. It will just take few in this AWS. How AWS is just managing the things. It will take only 3 to 4 minutes, and it will launch a new Linux operating system for me. Okay, so before that, I have already one operating system running in my case, which I have already started. So you can see it is pending state, means behind the scene Linux, behind the scene AWS is going, and AWS is booting Linux for you. It just takes the image, it will just go, it will just attach the hard disk, RAM, each and everything, and it will give us a new Linux. Okay, so for now, I will use this one, the older one, which I have already done. Otherwise, this would be also ready in few minutes. Okay, so to as this is not running in my local system, so to connect with it, I will need a public IP address as well as the password which I have selected. So here, as for the security, it like password is not a good thing for the security. We use keys. So keys are like there would be a file which will have around a big file, you can say, and there would be a lot of characters in this, and that makes a key. Okay, so if you worked on cryptography, so we have private and public key. That's the most secure way of transferring data. So I'm not going again in that part. It's not related to our Linux one. So let's just log into this particular Linux. I will just copy the IP as well as I will pass. Whenever you will install this thing, it will download a key file into your local system. As I have already done this, so it didn't do for my case, but if you will do first time, it will download the key file for you. And whenever you will need to log in, you will just have to upload that key file, and you will have that operating system. You can just handle that operating system from the local system, which is behind the scene running in AWS Mumbai region. So I am at Mumbai region, so it is running in Mumbai region, in Mumbai data center. So to do this, we have a very beautiful software, that is Putty. So with the Putty, we will just have to pass our IP as well as key, and we will just get the console of the operating system which is running in the Mumbai region. Okay, so how it works. So for me, it's got freeze because I was not using this terminal from long time. So what I can do is I can just click on new session. Yes. So let me show you how we can do. This is the IP. So I will just copy the IP. And in Linux, we have a lot of users also. I will talk about this later. I will just type the IP, and I was talking about like SSH is a secure protocol to transfer data. So I will use this protocol. I will here for the authentication, I will use a key, whatever I just told you. So I have to just upload this key. This is like a password for me. I will just upload it. Then I will go to appearance. Just appearance for increasing the text size so that everyone can see whatever I'm doing here. Just open it. Okay, so it will just launch. It is already running in my AWS data center, but from my local system, I can now handle it. So here you can see I have got this access of the console of Linux, Amazon Linux. It is also showing here Amazon Linux. The Amazon, see, whatever the Linux flavors we have, the commands of all of them are almost same. I will not say completely same because if someone is creating a new Linux, so it totally depends on them what commands name they want to put. Like if anyone else is creating a Linux, so they can put command name in their name also. So, but the market standard, or if some big companies are doing it, mostly the commands are same. Few commands would be different. Mostly the commands would be same. So, whatever command I will tell you here, if you are using a different Linux flavor, there also you can run. If the command is different, then you can just check in their documentation what command they follow. Otherwise, that command work behind the scene will be always same, because all of them from base they are using that Linux, okay, open source Linux. Okay, so this is the terminal which I have got. Now we can discuss about the commands, which are how we work on this Linux operating system. So I will just clear the screen and just, okay. So till now, is it clear? Everything is clear. Just let me know if any doubts or any clarification you want. Hello, Meenal Devraj, everything is clear?
Yes, it is clear to me.
Okay. So now the main task came up. So from here also I can start to how Linux work. But I think that would be not the right way to start working on Linux, because if till the time we don't know what is Linux, what is Linux and why we are using it, how we can install it, so it don't make sense. That's why I spent just more than 30 minutes in this. But here from here only we will start working on Linux. Even till now, if you don't understand few of the process which I have told about, so that's not matter at all, because in whichever company you are working, let's say in Norway Labs, if you will need to work on Linux, your company will provide you this console. Now here onward you will have to work. How company is providing you this console to you, that's not your thing. Other people will just take care of it. So even till now, if you think like something is not clear, that's not issue at all. Here from here only the main part will start. But if you want to create your own setup, local setup, then this would be a little bit helpful. Okay. So like, okay, so let's start. So here, like in Windows, we have a command prompt CMD. Okay. So this is one more difference. I'm going to talk about Windows and Linux. So here I'm comparing Windows and Linux. So like here in command prompt also you can run a lot of commands. You can run a date command. It will tell you what is the current date. Here you can go to, you can just do dir. It will just list all the files. You can just go inside any folder if you want. So let me go to B directory. Let me go to, if again I can do dir. I can just see if I have to go in this folder. I will just do these. Here also in Windows is also providing us the way to interact with the Windows operating system with the commands. We have two ways. First way is GUI. We can just go here. Whatever I was doing from command, I can just do from my mouse also. I can just go, I can just click, double click here, and I can just open this particular directory. But same thing we can do from the commands. Then why we need Linux? Like in Linux, everything is command only. Then that's one more thing. I mean, if we just came up, if we just wanted to know the difference, is again the same. Like if I am doing dir, like dir, how it is working. Dir is not just a command. Behind the scene, dir would have a code. Okay. Whenever I run dir, what your kernel do is kernel will go to a specific position. It will just run that whatever the command is written in dir. It will just go and will just run it. Okay. How that command is then created, we don't know. Windows has not open sourced it, so we don't know yet. And the second thing is Windows, as Windows is not providing this, so means a lot of things we can't create from ourselves. We can't tune the things in our own way. But in Linux we can do. Even in Linux, if you want, there's some command like date. It just print the date. Even in Linux, if you want to make this, just rename this command as your name, so you can do that also. So now onward, that would be your only. So and the second thing why we are using it, because Windows is slow. Mostly Windows come up with GUI. What happened is whenever a GUI came up, it becomes very slow. So we can't do automation. We can't do when our RAM is already occupied. So we can't do a lot of things. But Linux normally is completely CLI. Why I'm saying normally, because if you want, then in Linux also you can use GUI application. For that you have to install a GUI Linux. You can do it, but in the main, like in servers, in the main industry, we don't use Linux in GUI. We normally use Linux in CLI only, because from CLI we can do a lot of things. Then second thing which Windows don't have, we don't have all the command from Windows CLI. We can't run all type of command. We don't have that much commands here. Okay, for few things we have to use GUI only. That's the one issue which we have. But in Linux we have a lot of commands. Even if you think for some particular task command is not created yet, you can also create a new command for you. That's the one more thing. So means Linux is providing, as it is open source, we can get a lot of more functionalities which we can add in it. And that's why become Linux very fast also, because it is just command. It don't, like, it is just a black screen. It don't have any GUI and anything, so it's very fast. That's the one more thing. So let's start in this way. Let me clear my screen. So in Windows, if you have to clear your screen, you just write CLS, but in Linux you will write clear. Now onward, if you think any command is helpful for you, you can write on your notebook. So here we will be talking about Linux. So in Linux, like, we have a lot of commands. So like I've shown you, date is a command to print date. We have a cal command to print calendar, and it will highlight what is the current date we have. Then if we have to list the number of, like, I am at this location. What is this location? So if in Windows you came up, so it is showing like I am at this D directory. Flutter app is one of the folder. I am here. But here, what is this? So to print your directory in which currently you are, so we have a command like pwd. So what do this do is, it will print your working directory. So it is print your working directory. So where I am at. So I am at this folder. This folder is just mentioning here as this one, but basically this is I am here. If I have to switch to a different folder, let's say slash, so I can just use cd, like in Windows also we use cd. Okay, if I have to just go to a different folder, I just use cd. So here also I can do cd. Now if I do pwd, I am at this particular directory. Okay, so now if I have to list what type of files and folders I have at this directory. So as I don't have GUI, so I can't go to File Explorer and just see from my eyes. I have to run command only. And for the command, we have ls command. Ls means list. So it will list all the command, all the files and folders which we have at this directory. And this is one of the very main directory in Linux. Okay, so you can see a lot of folders and files here. Everything which is in purple are folders. Okay, so why I'm talking about slash folders, so let's discuss about it for a few minutes. So like in Windows, whenever we install Windows, so if ever you have noticed, whenever we install Windows, normally your Windows operating system gets installed in your local disk C. Even this icon is showing here. Okay, so your, I think, around 15 to 16 GB size this your Windows operating system needs. It takes from local disk C, and normally local disk C is the place where your Windows, all the, like, Windows is, you can say, it is also like a program. So it also has a lot of sub programs, sub files which are written in some programming languages. So whenever we boot our Windows operating system, behind the scene those program runs, and that's why only we can work like here only. A lot of Windows program is running behind the scene. Even if you just open Task Manager, you can see a lot of program would be running, which even you didn't have started. So these, how they are running. So behind the scene, they are running by Windows only. A lot of program would be here, like 1987% of CPU as my using. A lot of program would be here, like service host. This program I don't have started. This program, when I booted my operating system, it started automatically by kernel. Kernel is the one who takes all decision. Windows audio device. So this is the one which is taking, I think, audio or something. So you can see a lot of program is running behind the scene, which I haven't started. Whatever you can see, like service source, these are the commands which kernel has started behind the scene, which are running. There are, like, this particular program is running, then it will have a code where that code is stored. That code is stored in local disk C only. Okay, and that's why it been said also, if you want to like use SSD, so always install your operating system in above of SSD hard disk. Why SSD? Because SSD is solid state drive very fast. So when all of your Windows files would be stored in that SSD, then the read and write time would be very less and it would be very quick. So your Windows will boot very quick. Like if you have installed your Windows above SSD, then your operating system will boot within a second. Why? Because SSD is very fast. So if all the files which I have just shown you are stored here, then to read and write it would be very fast. This is a very important we can say directory in Windows. Similarly in Linux we have slash directory. This is the main directory in Linux which we have. Let me clear my screen and do it again. So I think I got, because as my this operating system is running in AWS, I am connecting here with the networking with the internet. So sometime if I don't use this shell, so it got crashed. So this just this terminal got crashed. I have to like software pause connection abort. So as it is not running locally, so this happens. So what I have to do is just let me do restart the session. It will I will again log into my Linux operating system which is present in this AWS Cloud, okay, which I am using here. So let me log into root. What is root? I will talk in some minutes. But now let's do okay, else. So all of these things which you can see, these are very important files and folder, and here most of the most no, not most, all the files are present which are needed for kernel to start or to boot your operating system as well as to run your operating system. Okay, so this is one of the very important directory. As in Windows we have local disk C, so here also we have this. So this is about this. So if you want, like ls command I have shown you, it will list all the things. But if you want to get more details, like what is this bin dev and also we have a one argument here, ls-l. So here it will tell you more information. So like here it is talking about this, when it's been created, these are all the files, and it is showing here the size, but this size is in a byte, we can't read it. It's not human readable. So what we can do is we can use one more argument. These are just Linux command, and it's been said how much Linux command you know, that much thing you can work in Linux, because it is not GUI, so we don't have option of GUI. So in Windows, whatever we are doing, we are minimizing this thing. We don't know what the command is running behind the scene. Okay, behind the scene command is only working, but as it is a GUI, we don't know which command is running. And whenever I click it, behind the scene it calls a command, and that when that command run, then it got minimized. But here what we are but in from CLI, if you have to do, you will directly run that command. And that is also one reason why if we are doing something in CLI, it's very fast. So as we are don't have GUI here, so we have just command only. So I will use augment hyphen h. Matlab h means human readable. So as I click here, now the things would be on KB and all, so we can just read it. Till now it was in bytes, so we can't read it. 8 KB. This is just telling what is the means how much space it is taking. It's taking 8 KB and all. These are the date, these are the time, some more information. Which user we have root, so we are not talking about this thing currently. We will talk it later. Totally it is taking 16 KB. And let me just clear my screen. And so this is one thing which is ls. And as I was talking about Linux is open source. Okay, so means if you want to just let's see, like there's a command, let's say date. Okay, which I have shown you. Now where this date command is located, if we have to see, so we can use one more command is here, date. And then I will come to one more concept, like what you say, why open source, about open source. You can see where this state command is located. So I can see this command is located inside slash folder, which I have already told you. All the command and each and everything would be inside this slash only. Slash inside slash, you can see a bin is here. It is also saying inside bin, you will have a folder named date where your date command is stored. So whenever I run date behind the scene, it just go to this location and just execute the file. So if I have to just go to bin, so we can just use CD. We can go in again. We will do ls to know what are the files and folders we have here. So everything you can see in green is a executable file. So like it is a script. So if you want to run a script So we just convert it into executable file, so that whenever we just write its name only, mv is also a command. So you will find here all the commands as one executable file. Whenever you will call it, it will run. Here somewhere you will find date command also. So like date is like, these are all the files where the code would be there for date. Okay, so if you want to read it, so as in Windows we have text editor like Visual Studio, Notepad, Word document and all. So in Linux, if you want to read a file, so how you will do it, because it's on the GUI, so we can't use Notepad and these type of things. So for this we have couple of ways. So let me first of all clear my screen, then I can show you. The first one would be VI. So it is an editor in Linux. With this, we can open any file and we can just see whatever written in this file. So as I will do it, so this is a command of date, but you can't. It is in a binary form, so we can't see in the code currently. For the developer who has done it, it is in binary form. Here also they have just also this is a documentation. Who is the developer of this date command? They have uploaded documentation also. Like if you want to just get the hour, what is the current hour, that use this %h option. I will just tell you the hour from 0 to 23 and a lot of things. So currently, you can't see the command here, sorry, the code here, because they have just converted as it is an executable file. So they have converted the things, all the things in binary. We can't read it. But if you go to internet and just want to read that the state command, you can find some way to read how the state command has been created. So for now, just like an editor which I can do. If you want to come out from editor, so normally in this in Windows, what we do is we just click on the cross. But in here, what we have to do is I will just use a escape key. We just use escape key, then column key. Whatever the shortcuts I am using here, I will just share one what we say a document. So there you can get all of these shortcut. Hyphen here, if in the left side you can see I am using hyphen. It's dot q. What does it mean is column q. It means quit. Quit means I will just come out from here. So this is the one way to open any file. If you the second way is using a cat command. So with cat command also we can open a file, but here it will open the file here only. And vi is an editor. So I can go inside and I can just edit the file. But with the cat we can just read the file. So as I will do it, it will just whatever the file was there, it will just paste it in your console only, in your here only. So that's not look so good. So this is how we can, these are some two ways, vi as well as cat. Okay, so with these ways we can open any files in the Linux, basically. This is one way. Okay, so if like here a date command, whosoever the person has created this date command has make in binary format, so we can't see it. But if want to show you how Firefox has been created. So for your information, like Chrome we are using here, Chrome is made by Google, but Firefox is an open source. So how Firefox is being made, we can see the code of Firefox, like how it is being made. And even if you are interested in hacking and also, you can find some loopholes in this in Firefox, and you can just like whosoever is the people who are using Firefox, you can do something. But it's not that much easy, because people who has created Firefox, they have already uses all the security measures. And even in open source, the one more thing which I want to tell you is, as it is open source, so people keep on contributing in this. So if they see like in Firefox there is some issue, they will just just solve it, and they will just create a new version of it with the community. So if I want to show you the Firefox code, so here the Linux which I am using here, behind the scene, it don't provide the Firefox software, the Amazon Linux which I am using. So I have like what we do is normally. So in Windows, so let me relate it like this. In Windows, we have a lot of software which is provided by Windows only, like Excel, like Windows, like Notepad, Paint. These are some softwares which is provided by Windows only. So we can just do it. We don't have to download it. But there are some softwares which we have to download. So what basically we do, we go to internet. If we have to install, let's say PLC media player, I will just go to internet and I will install it. But in Linux, so the Red Hat ISO file, which I have shown you earlier, with which we have booted our operating this Red Hat Linux. Here, this is RHEL. This is of 6 GB. Why it is of 6 GB? Because it has already pre-installed a lot of software, and one of them is Firefox. Okay, this Amazon Linux is not providing the software, which I have already told in the beginning. Like Linux is open source, but above Linux, people, different companies have just created their own software, wrap it, and make it and just sell it as a new product. But Red Hat Linux in 6 GB, it is providing you. Red Hat is providing you around, I think, 3 to 4 thousand different software which we use commonly in our day-to-day life in Linux. If some software is not provided, then from internet also we can install those software with the yum and all. I will talk about it somehow in next class. This would be a different concept. That is a very interesting concept also, to install softwares. But for now, I can use my local Red Hat, because here the DVD I am using, it is providing Firefox. So I don't have to install from outer. It's already provided. That would be more easier for me. Okay. So let me just come here, and then I can show you the code. So I hope you can see here. If you can't, then what I can do is, this is also a command known as ifconfig, with which I can get IP of my current system. So this is IP 192.168.1.38. I hope you can see it. So what I can do is, I can again use a putty, which I have shown. Okay. So let me use Putty. So remotely means from my Windows, I'm going to access it. That would be more easy for me, because it's very small and all. What I can do is, I have to just write here IP 192.168.1.38. So every, like here I have shown you, I have around 10 different Red Hat Linux. All of them would have different IP, and all of them are in my private system. They have private IP. So what is private and public IP? That would be again a different concept. So here, as I am using AWS, so you can see I got a public IP. Public IP normally start from 3 and all, but the private IP always start from 192, 162 and all. So this is the private IP I'm using. So what I wanted to say is, like, this is a public IP. So you can also, if you got my key, which is very personal to me, which I have stored in my system, which I will never share to anyone, and you got this IP, you can log into my system. But even if you got the IP of my private system, which is this, and even I am going to tell you password also, but you are not going to, you can't log into it. Okay, because this system exists privately, and in Windows I have my firewall, so no one from outside can come to it and log into it. So even I will show you here. So again, for better thing, I will just, font style will be bold 1820, and this okay. And one more thing, let me change the color also. So these are some settings we can do. Foreground color, let's just put it black, and then background color, let's put it, background color would be white. Okay, now let me open this. So login as, so we have a lot of users. So user concept will talk in this class. So I'm using here as root. Here I will tell you the password also. The password is, which I have set, is Red Hat. I can set any password, no issue and all. Even you have my this IP as well as password, you can't log into my system as it run locally. It's not the public IP. So here I am again at the same. I am at this operating system, but I am just working on this operating system from this particular software, because here to copy paste something, it's very difficult. Okay, so because this is how the data is working here, this is a little bit difficult for me. So that's why we use Putty normally to connect. Okay, Putty use SSH protocol, which is very secure to connect, so that whatever, like, even if I running here some like date, so it is by networking with SSH protocol, it is going to my this Red Hat, and here it is, it is running. Here I can just see the output. Okay, so let me see Firefox software is installed here or not. Okay, so for in Red Hat, especially we have a command name as RPM. RPM means Red Hat Package Manager. Normally all the software and all we call as package. Okay, So I will here wanted to query. So I will use -q, and I will just ask for Firefox. Okay. So here I'm asking the hat, like, do you have any software like Firefox? It is saying yes, I have a software named Firefox, and this is its name. So if I just use here some different names, it is saying package. This one is not installed because this is an invalid package which I have not installed. But Firefox is installed. So if I have to again let me just clear my screen, and from here there from this operating system I can just start the Firefox also. Like Chrome, Firefox is also very similar, but here I am more interested to see the code of Firefox, how it's been designed. So as I have already talked about which command, so I can just talk about which will tell me where this Firefox command is stored. So it is been stored in user bin Firefox. If I again use the VI editor, which I have already talked about, so user bin, normally all the software which you can see would be stored in user, all the commands you can see would be inside user bin only. Okay, and with then their name. So if here I use Firefox, so I have a lot of Firefox. Here you can see this fire. This is a command. This is just a code. Which the Firefox is being created in this bin bash or script. This is a script which Firefox uses behind the scene. So there is like we have programming language. This is one of the script language which we are using here. Bash script we are using here to create this Firefox program. And here you can see how the Firefox program is being created. It's like it's similar like if you get like for the Chrome, it's been created by Google, so Google will not share us how Chrome software behind the scene work. Okay, but Firefox is open source, so we can see how Firefox is. This is a code of Firefox, how it works behind the scene. Okay, so you can see this long code of Firefox. So you can see this is similar, like this is also like a bash means whatever the here we are using scripting. This is also like a normal programming languages we are using. The things and the command would be a little bit different, but still you can see if and all. If here the if will stop, so we write as opposite if means from here if is starting, and here if this here if is starting here, and here it will stop. So this a long code of Firefox. You if you know shell scripting, so you can understand this code how Firefox is being created. This I was talking about. So in Linux, mostly the softwares are open source. You can see the code of these software, which normally in Windows or Mac you can't do, and that's why Linux has one great power. Okay, so let's back to here, and one more thing if I wanted to show you. Okay, we have time or not. So just last thing which I wanted to show you here, like here I have shown you this task manager. What does it shows in Windows? What are different tasks are working? What different tasks are running in my system? Okay, these are different tasks. So the same thing if I have to do here, then I have a very beautiful command name as aux. So what it will do is it will list all the different tasks which are running in my system. Okay, so these much tasks are written, and to show you like this system D. So I think here you were talking about kernel and all. Whenever we boot our operating system in Red Hat, so the first software which what we say the first program which run is this system D program, and this is here the kernel will start, and then kernel will start a lot of more softwares, more programs, more programs. So here we have different programs running behind the scene. As I have run the ps-aux, this is also a command behind the scene. It will run ps-aux. There would be a program file it will run. So here also you can put ps-aux is running. This is how it works. So if I have to like by default, as I told, a lot of software we got in Red Hat by default, like Python also we got. So here I can write Python also. Python command I can just write here print print g, it will just print. So here I have got the Python also. Now behind this Python is running, I am running in my Linux. If I want to see, wait, let me just duplicate session. Okay, I'm just doing it so that in my operating system I can work from two different console, two different screen, let's say. So like here I am running Python 3, so I can't run commands now. I can't run commands now. Here I can just do Python coding. But if I want to see what is the process ID of this particular program which I am running. So in Windows also you can get the process ID. So in Linux the thing is very simple. I will again run ps-aux, and here as I am running Python, so you will see it is showing that Python 3 program is running. Okay, and it is also showing how much space and all it is taking. So these are some of like memory. You can see how much CPU and memory it is taking. So you can see for the Python 3 it is taking around 0.2 CPU, 3.1 memory, and this is the process ID of this particular program. Okay, so this is, and if I as I will stop this program, so it will just stop, it will just remove from my RAM. Now if I do ps-aux, I can't see Python 3 here because it's been stopped. So these are, so ps-aux is just a command to know what are different processes are running in your system. So if you are a developer, like let's say you wanted to start your own Apache server, or you want to start your own server. So by default, what that software developer do, they just run this ps-aux command, and they just run it with the command watch. What does it, like till now whatever I was doing ps-aux, it just run it and at that point of time and just give us the console again. But we know as these programs are running, so parallelly it will just sometime it will take more CPU, sometime it will take less CPU. Like here I have here we can see, so it is showing us a live. Okay, so here it is showing live like 0%, some 99, 9.3, 9.6, 10.9, 12.1. So but here it is showing the static one. So how to solve this issue? So we have one more command. As a developer, if you will need it, if you want to run your program locally, so I will just use the command watch. Watch will, what it will do, it will just keep on watching it, and now I will not get my shell again. It will just keep on watching it. If there would be some changes, it will let me know. Okay, this is a one more command. So I will stop myself here only. So we have just learned how we can install Linux. What is Linux basically? How we can install it in our local system. If we don't want to install Linux in our local system, we can use cloud environment also. That would be very easy for us. We don't have to take care of anything. We don't need to share our resources also. So that's the first thing. And few commands which we have talked about. And the more things in Linux, we have a lot of commands. We can like RPM. I have shown you. This is a package manager which take care of all the packages means softwares in your Linux. Okay, this is about RPM, and we have seen like what are some kernel files, how they started. What is this slash directory? This is one of the important directories. So like here currently I am not at the slash directory. Now here we have a lot of important folders. So like in Windows, if you will go, so in local disk C, they are very relatable if you will see. So we have a lot of things like program file is one of the very big, important software, and Windows is one of the very important software. It's like if you just delete this thing. Okay, so what it will do is your Windows will crash. Why it will crash? Because a lot of important programs are here which Windows need to boot this Windows operating system. If they are not present, then Windows can't be boot and your operating system will be crashed. Similarly, everything in here would be in ls in this directory. This is very important. Okay, so I think we have, it's already 6:40. So I will just end. That's all for today. If you have any questions, you can ask anyone. Otherwise, I will just share that PDF to install Linux operating system in your local system. If you don't want it to do so, you can use AWS. And some commands which I have shown you, I will just document it and will share it for your reference.